I'm Dr. Wily, and you know, some days it's good to be an engineer, working in metals and designing the future! It's really awesome! Too bad I mostly spend my days looking through old video game manuals, but every once in a while, there is some overlap. Like today's manual from the wonderfully old and mostly forgotten NES gem, Blaster Master. About a boy and his tank to rescue his pet frog. That makes no sense. Perhaps the manual will help. Well, let's start with another thanks to Vim's Lair. I don't really ask if I could use the manuals like this, so I hope this thanks is all they want. Also to the person who contributed to them, Corn31. He kinda spelled corn wrong. Or maybe it's supposed to be like that leap thing? And it's Cornell? What? There is a band named Corn that spells it that way? Disregard my last few comments. I like how the cover of the manual has a target on it, despite the fact this is not a first-person shooting game, and has none of the elements of one. Actually, the cartridge of the game has this creature on it as well. It looks like they just cropped this image to make it fit for the manual. The first page is kinda boilerplate. You know, precautions about being sure to turn off the NES before inserting the cartridge. Thank you for purchasing the game and table of contents. And now we got the story. Well, this should be simple. This game is about a guy named Jason. Jason had a pet frog named Fred. Okay, I'm following this so far. Fred decided he had enough of being locked up in a fishbowl and made a dash for the door. Wait, frogs don't dash, they hop. This is starting to get odd. As fate would have it, Jason was there when all this happened, and gave chase, making this the worst escape ever attempted by a frog. Once outside, Jason was totally amazed to find Fred running towards a huge radioactive chest. Wait, what? Huge radioactive chest. No, I read that right. Why does Jason have a huge radioactive chest just outside his house? As soon as Fred touched it, it grew to an enormous size, and the radioactive chest fell into the earth along with Fred. Jason tried to reach for Fred, but fell into the hole along with him. When Fred landed, he found himself alone. Error! Error! That should read when Jason landed, not Fred! You are doing so well, Blaster Master Manual. Well, minus the radioactive chest. Okay, let's see. So when Jason landed, he found himself alone next to a huge armored vehicle. This was not any vehicle. It was a tank. No, really, it was a tank. I don't know why they just don't say tank. But not just a tank, one designed for the ultimate challenge. Ultimate challenge? What, a perfect run of Battletoads? Sweet Celestia, what are you saying? The Power Glove Challenge run of Snake, Rattle, and Roll? You really just don't want your body to be found ever, do you? Okay, moving on. Ultimate Challenge against the radioactive mutants living under the Earth's crust. These mutants, created from escaped radioactive waste, are controlled by the plutonium boss. Your mission, which you unfortunately fell into, is to fight your way and destroy the plutonium boss before he destroys you. Along the way to your final encounter, there are many warlords, which is a fancy way of saying bosses of the underworld that you need to defeat. What happened to that frog? Well, enough with that mystery, now on to how to play. Blaster Master has 8 levels in all. Though, on your first run, don't be surprised if you can't make it past level 3. To complete some levels, you must return to lower levels. Well, how are we supposed to know? Oh, wait. We've given you a map to help you find your way. Well, that makes this game a bit less complex. Not easier, but a little bit simpler. Blaster Master is a one-player game. No scoring is provided. Which is strange, considering back then almost every game used scoring. Well, I guess Zelda didn't, but as we learned earlier, Mega Man 1 did. This game has 2 modes. Which isn't how they should have said it. They mean that the game has a part where you're in your vehicle on the overworld, and when you leave your vehicle to go face off against the mutants on your own. See, back in the day, when a game had 2 modes, I'm thinking like Donkey Kong, where you got to select it before the game started. In the menu screen, you can monitor and choose weapons earned for uses against the mutants. To stay alive, you need to maintain your power gauge, which is shown on screen at all times. This is just a weird detail. I can't think of any game that would purposely hide your health bar from you. Well, if they showed it at all. You can increase your power by catching Powerballs. And as soon as I catch a Powerball, this show is over, and I'm going to retire. If you perish from lack of power, you can continue. However, you only have 5 chances to continue per game. Which is weird. Most games give you 3 continues. And this isn't counting the 3 lives you get per continue. So, you actually got about 15 lives, essentially, to clear the game. It's probably not enough. The next page is the joystick operation, a fancy title for controls. I almost let this go as being good. I actually almost missed this. First line, joystick maneuver Jason in vehicle. Vehicle can shoot up or down, left or right. Except you know down! Your ultra-powered tank cannot fire down. It doesn't tell you that. It also doesn't tell you how to use special weapons, but that is covered a little bit later. It would have also been nice to have it here. Following that, we got on-screen gauges. First up is power. You need power to stay alive. I don't know how to respond to that sentence. When power runs out, you lose 1 life. Or, in normal terms, you die. Either by spinning around and dropping dead, like a lot of video game characters seem to do. I'm not kidding, think, Link and Pac-Man are probably the 2 popular ones I can think of that do that. Or in a fiery radioactive explosion when your vehicle explodes. And we got video! Prepare to die a lot. To gain extra power, catch power capsules. And be sure to catch them all! The regular ones replenish 1 hit point, flashing ones 4. Next up, we got the hover gauge, and this can kinda get confusing. Ready? Alright. Thrust for the hover feature can be monitored with the hover gauge. Hover, however, cannot be obtained until the mutant boss in stage 3 is defeated. Here's the problem. You can still see the hover gauge slightly before then. It's kind of annoying. Definitely when you can also collect hover capsules before then, too. They also say you can unhover by shooting the capsules. This feature must have been removed because, yeah, that doesn't work. The final gauge is the gun energy gauge, which only appears when Jason is out of his vehicle. You can increase gun. Oh boy, the problems. Number 1, your gun doesn't use ammo. These increase the power of the gun, and yes, the main issue with this, your gun loses power from taking damage. That's kind of a problem. But after like 3 points, your gun can also become kinda useless as it starts to fire everywhere but straight. Now we get to the menu screen. Press start to enter menu screen. Bad English aside, as it should be, to enter the menu screen, at least this game tells you about the menu. Mega Man 1, not so much. The menu screen can help you to confirm what weapons you have, and to choose your weapon options. See, Mega Man 1? Not so frickin' hard! Weapons and vehicle functions will appear in the menu screen after they have been earned. A new weapon or function will be earned after destroying the mutant boss in each level. Okay, now here is the issue. The weapons/vehicle function chart doesn't have any of Oh, they aren't counting the special weapons yet. Okay. Oh, and don't you love how the key is a weapon or function? Yeah, the key which you have to leave your vehicle to use at one point. Let's just say this is one of the meaner things this game does to you. Next page has the special weapons, which is partly what I thought we were talking about, because these are all the weapons you can choose from. The rest are fine and dandy, and also automatically equipped. Although, in the sequel for the Game Boy, you can unequip your wall functions, which is actually a lot less frustrating, believe it or not. Okay, back to the special weapons. There are 3 special weapons that can be earned by capturing certain objects during the gameplay. What? You didn't want to call them weapon capsules? Okay, the amount of special weapons you have is shown under each weapon. Press down on the joystick and be simultaneously. Seriously guys, you couldn't just write that down on the control pages too? Move the joystick left or right to choose a special weapon. Should also read while on the menu, but okay. The 3 weapons are the homing missiles. This heat seeker homes in on the target. Sometimes it doesn't home in like you would like it to, though. Next, Thunder Break. An electromagnetic lightning wave destroys enemies. Okay, first, that would be a lightning break, as thunder is the sound produced from lightning, and actually would cause no damage. This isn't Pokemon, where they kinda ran out of letters and couldn't fit lightning in the attack names. These people do not have an excuse! Also, they don't mention that this attack fires downward, so not as useful if you aren't capable of aerial acrobatics. And finally, the multi-warhead missile destroys enemies with 3 missiles at one time. It's probably the most useful of the 3. Oh, too bad you can't use these though during the boss fights. What's that? Yes, these are for your vehicle, of course. Did you think that you had your vehicle for the boss fights? Oh, that would be silly. No, you fight that hand to hand. However, giving you some aid, this manual comes with maps. A very helpful one would be the overall map, which tells you, even though stages 1 through 3 are connected, you better backtrack to level 1 to find stages 4, 5, and 6, and then backtrack back to level 2 to get to 7, and then 3 to get to 8. Holy heck, that's hard to say. As an added bonus to this generosity, there's also maps, albeit vaguely detailed maps of levels 1, 2, 3, 5, and 7. Even telling you where the mutant bosses are in them all. Of course, if memory serves me, the 3 maps that are missing are the sewer maze level. That'll piss off Spoonie. The frozen platforming nightmare of level 6. That'll piss off Vitreous. And of course, the final spike-filled pit of death level 8. That'll piss everyone off. Next page is the mutant bosses, and let's see what issues I can find here. Well, the text doesn't start us off good. You must discover where these mutant bosses are, except for the 5 bosses that you just clearly marked off their locations in the map sections. Maybe they mean in the overworld top-down sections, I don't know. But they can't show you the master boss of stage 8, as he is the most powerful of all. Let's play a game. Guess what stages these bosses are from? I'll give you a moment. Alright, let's see the answers. Alright, let's start with this guy. That's Photophae. He's in stage 3. This crab guy next to him, he's in stage 5. These 2 here, the crab arm guys, are from stages 2, and the ice version of him is from the ice stage of level 6. Fred, you fight twice. He's in stages 4 and 7. Now, obviously, You got this guy right. He's on the cover of the game! He must be the first one, right? Right? Wrong! The first boss isn't even shown! The first boss is called Mother Brain. There are about 5 Mother Brains on the NES console alone! They should have their own convention! Nope, this guy is the plutonium boss of Stage 8! Well, good job hiding him! Alright. Before I got too far on this, they might have meant the one boss that's actually after him, the Underworld Lord. But that brings up the problem with the term most powerful. When you claim something is the most powerful thing in the manual, make sure you playtest him! Cause there is this huge flaw in his attack patterns that makes him generally weak and helpless! That makes Toadman look like Wily's greatest invention. Wait, my grandfather didn't make Toadman. Cossac's greatest invention! And now we got the special hint chart, which is neither really hints or really special. To break it down, it tells you what each item you get in each level does. Like, level 4 tells you you earn the key to the door. Even tells you the first one is easy to open, but the second one, you're going to need to climb up and down 2 ladders to reach it. The rest of this is kind of just figure out, like, you need to earn dive by destroying stages 5's boss, then you need to use it to get the heck out of stage 5. Also, am I the only one getting sick of the quotations around mutant boss? In every single item name? It's like it was written by Dr. Evil while preparing his frickin' laser beam! The final page is the specs for the vehicle, which is in metric to deter any American engineers from trying to design it. Nice to know someone left a 150-ton tank at the bottom of a hole, huh? Also, since I will probably never have a chance to use this random piece of information again, 16,000 horsepowers doesn't actually equal 16,000 horses, or the power that 16,000 horses can actually generate. In actuality, a horsepower is very generous to the horse. I would go into detail, but this is my show, not Pony Palace. Although, now that I think of it, horsepower and tons are actually English units, whereas meters are clearly metric. Splitting units is another way to deter engineers. And that's the Blaster Master Manual. This series is actually pretty overlooked, which is kind of just a tragedy, but I wanted to make sure and cover it while I had the chance. Oddly enough, I have more of an issue of what's not in the manual than what is. They don't mention a few details. Oh, nothing too important, just the fact that the vehicle actually has a name, Sophia the Third, which means they could have gotten 2 prequels if they wished. They also left out the tiny detail that you have to leave your car in the overworld. If you fall too much while doing so, you can die. But I would recommend the manual to any first-time players, as the maps and hints are actually invaluable to anyone who doesn't know where to go. See? Not all these manuals are useless and full of puns.